Hey everybody, welcome to Let's Talk College Football. Welcome to the show, everybody. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're listening to us on Spotify, please hit that subscribe button. We need to grow. The more we grow, the better this show can get. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what I can do better. Let me know what the show can do. And I understand equipment and all that. We're going to build that. This is a young show, so it's just going to take a little bit of time. But I'm here. This show will get better. It will grow the more we grow with you guys. You guys run this show. Let me know what you want to talk about. Let me know your team. Let's break your team down a little bit. Let me know what you want to break down in the news of college football. We want to talk about all college football, but we're going to talk about the ones that matter the most. But if you are on the show and you're committed to being a part of this show, we're going to add yours as one of those that matter the most. So please let us know what you like to hear. And here we go. We got bold predictions tonight. We have upset picks. We have guaranteed picks. We got upset alerts. And we have Notre Dame, Ohio State at South Bend at night with their Taylor Swift bracelets and all that stuff. So we're going to get into some of that right here, right now. Let's break this down first. I'm going to go bold prediction first. I've been talking to quite a few people, and I've been telling them my bold prediction, and now I'm going to announce it on here. I am going to say the Florida Gators, you heard me right, the Florida Gators, who have not been but the middle of the SEC East, and maybe even closer to the bottom, I don't know. I'm going to pick them to be 6-1. 6-1 going into the Georgia game. And I know what you're saying. Are you kidding me? They got Kentucky next week. But listen, they're off this week. They got 2 weeks to prepare for Kentucky. Kentucky's playing. They're going to go in there and they're going to play them. I think they're going to beat them. And they got a pretty tough schedule. But, I mean, do you really believe in South Carolina? No. I mean, I actually think that there is a big chance. You know, Kentucky's their biggest, I guess, roadblock into this with 2 weeks to prepare for them. ETM's running good. I really like the way he's starting to run. I really like the way that Graham Mertz is getting the system and having his bye week. He's kind of helping with his healing of his hand and everything. But I really think this team's starting to buy in. It's not the same week 0 team that we saw. This is a new team that's getting better and better each week. And I think if they can pull off this 6-1, you're going to get the best version of the Florida Gators versus Georgia. And listen, Georgia was down 14-3 against South Carolina, so they're not like it's going to be unbeatable. I'm not saying that I'm picking Gators over Georgia. We're going to wait for that game. But I'm telling you, I don't need to pick the Florida Gators for the next few weeks because I'm telling you they're going to be 6-1. That means I'm picking Gators to win every game up to that Georgia game, and then we'll talk about that then. All right? Moving on. Upset alert. Upset alert. Florida State and Clemson. Florida State's going into Clemson. They had a bad week last week against Boston College. Boston College had like 18 penalties. They still had multiple opportunities to win that game. Florida State's defense was lucky enough to stop them at the end of the game. But it was just struggles. There were struggles everywhere on there, and it just made me feel less confident. Now, I picked Florida State to win the ACC. I picked Florida State to win that game. Matter of fact, this game right here is the reason why I picked Florida State to win the ACC is because I feel like they would have won this. I actually picked them to lose against LSU, and they won. So if I picked them to be 11-1 and lose against LSU, they should be undefeated. Well, I no longer think that. I don't think they're going to be undefeated. I think they might trip up a little bit down the road because they have shown some inconsistencies. Are we going to get the Florida State versus LSU? Or are we going to get the Florida State against Boston College? I just don't know right now. But they are on the road at Clemson. This is a hostile environment, and Clemson's on their toes because they took a loss against Duke, which has a really good offense, by the way, and a pretty good defense as well. They're a good team. And I think Clemson is Florida State is favored to win by 2, but Clemson to cover it. I actually like that. I actually think this could be a 1-point game. I think Florida State still wins. I'm going to keep my pick that Florida State will win. But I think this could be a 34-35, 27-28 kind of game. And I'm looking forward to seeing this. So upset alert will be on there for number 4 to possibly lose. It's not going to be an upset pick. It's an upset alert. And that's why I picked them to be an upset alert. All right, let's move on. Next one will be Alabama Ole Miss. Another upset alert, right? Ole Miss at 15, Alabama at 13. So it's not a huge upset. They're pretty close to each other. But it is at Alabama. right? Alabama's bringing back the quarterback one. After that debacle we saw at South Florida, it was absolutely horrible, hard to watch if you're an Alabama fan, I'm sure. But I actually think Milroe is the team backs him up. Speaking to some Alabama fans and Big T, which I wanted to call him Bama T, he didn't like that. He told me no, so that was not me calling you that. Big T said that he believes that they were all sitting there trying to do a mutiny to back up their quarterback, and I've heard that as well as other places, and that's good. When the team's behind the quarterback, that's actually good. The offensive line is absolutely horrible. They allowed 5 sacks the last 2 games, the first 2 games, and that's not good. That is not a good. That's not good. The last 2. The first game was a high school team. We don't count high school teams. So I don't think the offensive line got any better overnight. Don't get me wrong. I think this offensive line is going to struggle. They're big, but they're young. But I do like Milroe with that offensive line because he can roll out. He's going to run. He's going to bring another depth of running between him and the running backs. Will allow that defense to draw up close and allow those one-on-ones, and Milroe can throw it down the field. He can throw a good deep ball, a really good deep ball, matter of fact. And if you give him a one-on-one with his number one receiver, he's going to take that shot down the field. And I think by him running and extending the plays and rolling out will actually help the offense on the pass block because they can't pass block worth nothing. They can run block a little bit better. And I think, after the players' meeting and everything, Alabama will be up and they're going to be at home. They know they got to prove. They know they got to work hard. So I think they have extra motivation on this. And I'm pretty sure Nick probably broke off half his toes, putting his foot up people's butt, trying to get them pumped up for this. So I'm picking Alabama to win this game. And I'm picking Alabama to win this game by 10 points. I'm going to pick them to win it by 10 points. But they will be on upset alert, as you know it and I know it, all day Saturday because Ole Miss is coming into Alabama, into Tuscaloosa, to try to throw it out there. Everybody knows Lane Kiffin wants to beat them. Now, if Lane Kiffin can come out there and they can chuck it down and somehow get a 14-point lead on Alabama, then there's going to be some problems because this ain't going to be the Georgia thing. So if they get that lead on Alabama with that offense that it is like it is, it's going to allow that defense to get a little bit more loose and go out there and do a little bit better stunts and pass rushes and try to put more pressure. They're just going to play loose, and when you play loose, it's dangerous. So Alabama definitely doesn't want to get behind the sticks against Lane Kiffin because he's going to let it go. But that's my pick. I'm going to pick Alabama to win that and not be upset, but I think by 10 points. So I'm giving them a double-digit win. Don't let me down, Bama. Don't let me down because I won't pick it again if you do. But don't look away from this game. This is a 3:30 game, and I know a lot of people are saying, well, so is Colorado, Oregon. I think that's going to be a little bit more pushed away than this game. I think this will be a closer game if you're going to want to watch a close game. I'm going to watch 3 games at once, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to have both of those on, which comes to my next pick will be Colorado, Oregon. So Colorado, Oregon on this. Colorado has a lot of excitement. They're everywhere. 60 Minutes and everything else, right? It's time to play football. And I believe in the quarterback. I think he's the best quarterback in the country right now. Honestly, close to it, I think that there's 3 quarterbacks right now you can say that's leading the pack. And you got to put Penix in there, right? Penix Jr., Washington is just unbelievable. I don't understand what these AP polls got them down there, but you got him and Sanders. I think are up in the top 2, top 3 right now. Of course, you got to put he's a Heisman Trophy winner, right? He's a returning Heisman Trophy winner, so you got to put Caleb Williams in there as well. But there's other quarterbacks that are looking good too. I like Drake May, Bo Nix for Oregon. I think Bo Nix from Oregon is doing pretty good. But and so on and so on. So there's a lot of quarterbacks, but I think Sanders is one of the best. He's top 3, top 2 quarterback. So this should be pretty good because you got Bo Nix and Sanders on the offensive side, and I think this is going to be a great offensive game. Here's the problem. The linebackers in the trenches are not that great for Colorado. That slant pass, it's just going to kill them, right? You're going to see Oregon running the ball. They're going to hit those quick slants. They're going to hit those, and I mean, we seen what happened with Colorado State versus them, and I understand that was a rival game, and sometimes it was heated in the moment. But Hunter's still out. He's out for 2-3 weeks, and we got our prayers are there for him. And you know what? And my prayers is for the family, for the kid as well who hit him, because death threats ain't cool. This is football. I mean, there's a lot of dirty hits. There's a lot of bad hits that happen in football, and none of them are that where a kid actually wants to hurt anybody. Some people walk away with no hurt, nothing hurt, and some people walk away with hurt. As you heard, if you listen to the video, Hunter forgave and moved on. Deion's calling for these threats to end, and there's forgiveness there as well. You need to find forgiveness in your heart, because that's not what football is about. And people make mistakes, and we move on. So I think 21 points might be a little bit too much. They got Oregon winning this one by 21 points. I got it more like 14 points, but I do think it'll be a pretty close game for the first half. I think Oregon pulls away in the second half, and they win by 14 points. I'm not going to put a point on here. They got it 70 points scored. I don't know. I guess I could see that. I mean, that's just 35-35. I could see Oregon, maybe putting 40 up. And I mean, we'll see, right? But I do got a 14-point favorite on that. So if you're taking the points on a betting, I take the points in Colorado, because I don't think 20. I think 21 is just not enough. Not with that quarterback and wide receiver group. All right, let's move on. UCLA and Utah. All right, Utah came out looking great, and they had a couple struggle games, but they're winning. All right, both of them are 3-0. This is an undefeated matchup. UCLA 22, Utah 11. It is at Utah, so I'm not going to put an upset alert on this. I think Utah will win. I think it'll be a good, hard-fought game. I think both these teams are really talented. I like Chip Kelly. He's a great coach over there at UCLA. But I do think Utah will win this because they're at home. I think you're going to get the same rowdy crowd you got week 0. There's going to be some backing behind these guys. So I'm giving that one is going to be for them to win. It's not my guarantee, though. You're going to be probably surprised at my guarantee in the game I'm going to pick. And let's move on. Before we get to Notre Dame and Ohio State, which would be the game of the week, but I got 2 more games I'm gonna pick right now. All right, first one is Penn State, Iowa. Now, if you're watching Ohio State, Notre Dame, you're probably not going to watch this. Now, like I said, I'll have both of these on as well. I like Penn State in this game. I think it's going to be a defense game. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. This is going to be one of those old-school football, Big Ten kind of games. And I say that because I think Iowa might have one of the best defenses in the country. They have it every year like that. And their offense is better than what it has been as well. So I don't think they're just going to walk away from it. But I like Penn State's defensive backs. I like Penn State's running game. I like the trenches of Penn State. And I like Drew Aller. I do. So I'm picking Penn State to win this. They got Penn State winning this minus 15. I'm not going to argue too much about that. Actually, I'll agree with them on that. I got a minus 15, but I don't think it's going to be one of those immediate ones. I think this is going to be a late fourth quarter, get it to that minus 15 point. I think it's going to be pretty close for 3/4 of this game. So that's that game. My last game I'm going to pick is actually going to be Appalachia State first, Wyoming. Here's my guaranteed win. Appalachia State has been absolutely amazing the last few years. I mean, they come in, they beat Texas A&M, they take North Carolina to the very brink. Last year, they came back, they took North Carolina back to the very brink this year. They're a great team. Then you got Wyoming beating Texas Tech, taking Texas to the fourth quarter, start of the fourth quarter. It's 10-10 with Wyoming. I think Wyoming is a very dangerous team. Saying that, I don't think the third ranked team in the country should be 10-10 going into the fourth quarter, and I don't agree with them being the third ranked team in the country because of that. I'm sorry, I think AP just blew it. I don't think Texas is a bad team, but I think Wyoming is an absolutely great team. And I think to Appalachia State too. I got a lot of respect for both of these schools. I actually have been rooting on the backside of Appalachia State for a while. I mean, they did beat Michigan a while back, and that made them my second favorite team for a while. But I'll put my guarantee stamp on Wyoming. I think they are going to come out here and they are going to own this game and they're going to dominate and they're going to see why everyone should fear this little team. I think Wyoming's going to be one of the best little teams out there. Just, hey, take it from me. I'm telling you, I put my guarantee stamp on. I'm not going to be wrong like that. Kansas State messed me up last week with that and missing, and then they go out there and Missouri kick a 61-yard field goal. Who's that kicker anyways to do that to me? But this is my guarantee stamp. All right, let's move on. Here we are, the one that we want to talk about, and that is Ohio State and Notre Dame. There's so much hype about this. It's at Notre Dame. They're in their stadium. They're going to have that place rocking. It's like, 80,000, I think the capacity. There's 80,000 fans. And I believe that capacity will be filled up. I love this game for Ohio State as well because this one's going to really test them. They haven't been tested yet. Notre Dame hasn't been tested that much either, really. This is really the big test for both of them. Let's talk about Notre Dame for a second. Sam Hartman, he has been electric so far this year. 0 interceptions. He's thrown 1,061 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. I had to look at that twice because I was a little shocked on that. 1,061 yards, 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Now, we all know back in the day when he was at Wake Forest, he was throwing interceptions all the time, holding the ball too long. But that might have been the scheme that he was in. I just think he fit this scheme a little better since he's been to Notre Dame. And he's not holding the ball as much. He's letting it go a little quicker. Now, I think it helps that he has NFL tackles. These guys are absolutely amazing out there. This might be one of the best offensive lines in the country. So I definitely think that that's helping him on this as well. But again, they haven't really played anybody either, just same as us. I say us like I'm a part of Ohio State, but, if they ever want to hire me, they can. But as much as Ohio State as well, which Sam Hartman this is his 6th season, so he has a lot of experience. He's been in big games. He's won and lost big games. When you play Clemson every year and they play Notre Dame and other things like that. So I don't know. I really feel like he's been battle tested. So I don't think Sam Hartman is going to be worried about this game at all. I think he's going to be very poised in that. At the same time, I think Kyle McCord will be poised. It's just the way that his demeanor is. I don't think it's going to be too much on his shoulder either. He started all year, but he started as the number 1 quarterback for the first time last week. And he got 815 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 1 interception of the game. In this season so far. So we'll see. The fact that he played in high school with Marvin Harrison, they kind of already have this thing going on. And then Emeka Egbuka was his roommate, and when they were freshmen coming in, so they've been thrown back and forth for a long time. And so I think they clicked. So I don't think we have to worry about the pass game so much if you're talking about Ohio State's pass game. And the offensive line has never had a problem pass blocking all season. And I don't really look at this defensive line that Notre Dame has and say, oh, they have an historical great defensive line, and nobody on there really comes out as like first round NFL draft picks or second or third even. So I don't think I think the passing game on Ohio State will be just fine. I think Sam Hartman will be fine, but that offensive line with Estime behind it has been dominant. Estime has been one of the best running backs right now in the country. And he's averaging like 130 yards a game. He's got 521 yards and 5 touchdowns out of 63 attempts so far. Dude's been dominant. And I think we got to give credit where credit is. That offensive line, that running back. And if they can do that and they can control and get the first downs and not let Ohio State have that many possessions, try to keep them under 10 or less, I think it'd be really dangerous. That would be tough on Ohio State. Ohio State loves to have the possessions. They like to throw it deep. They got to be able to spread the defense. That's just something, that they don't do good with teams who try to do that. That's why Michigan was able to do what they do. But Henderson, he started turning up last week, but that defense wasn't really great. So this offensive line has to be able to push for the run a little bit better. So this is going to be a big test. The big question mark for Ohio State is the offensive line. And will this offensive line continue to grow? Is it moving forward? Is it what it was last week? Is it what it was first week when it comes to the rush? Now, like I said, the pass block is great. But I know that the offensive line for Notre Dame is legit. Now, on the other side, I think that the defense of, especially the trenches, the defense of Ohio State is a lot better than the defensive line of Notre Dame. So it's really strength for strength when we're talking about that. I think the defensive backs are better at Ohio State. The wide receivers are better at Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State has more talent. They're more of a talent team, but they are younger when it comes to the offensive line and quarterback. And I think that could be a little bit of an issue. I give this game like a 50-50, really. And that's because it is at Notre Dame at night, and that's because of that offensive line, running back, and quarterback. But their wide receivers are young, and I would take a one-on-one with the defensive backs of Ohio State with these wide receivers. I just don't, and honestly, and I think the run stop with the linebackers with this running back, they're going to contain him a little bit more than what we've seen so far this year. But as time goes on, you get wore out. If they can't get pressure on Sam Hartman, I don't care how bad those or how good those are, whatever you think of those wide receivers. If you can't get pressure, Sam Hartman's going to just take what the defense gives and pick and poke apart. If they can get pressure on him, well, that'd be good. I think I think Ohio State will win the backfield. I think the running game is going to be great for Notre Dame. They're going to keep this game pretty close. But Ohio State, when you listen to Ryan Day, he said, we're going to let it fly. They're going to play loose. Their hope is to come in there and play a defense and offensive loose game. That means excitement. That means throwing it down the field. That means running it. That means doing it. And I don't think Ohio State's going to come out there and come up with some crazy plays. They're not going to see a bunch of trick plays. No. Their basic plays are pretty explosive, and I think they'll stay in that. And the same thing with Notre Dame. I don't see them going out and throwing a whole bunch of trick plays either. But we'll see. I mean, I really think it is a 50-50. This is whoever wins this game, I think should be put at number one. Now, I don't know how long or whatever, but you tell me who else played a game better than this so far this year. And I know you say like Alabama, Texas, but it ain't been the same. Alabama has not looked like they were a top 3 team in the first place. So say what you want. They moved all them parts around to make that game better than what it was. I think this is the best game play so far, and whoever does it earns that right until someone proves it, because Georgia didn't prove it. And I really like the defense of Ohio State. I like the offensive line of Notre Dame. So I really think it's strength for strength. I'm going for Ohio State. Obviously, I'm an Ohio State guy. The -3, I think, is about right where it is. I think it's going to be a closer game than people would be comfortable to have, either what side you're on. And I'm telling you, I'm picking Ohio State not just because they're my team. I just think they're more talented, and I believe in Marvin Harrison Jr. And I believe that these Emeka Egbuka and Julian Flemings and Carnell Tate and Xavier Johnson and all these other guys that they have, I just think they have too much for a whole 4 quarters for Notre Dame's defense to be able to stop. I think they're going to throw a lot more at them that they can handle, and I think they'll score enough points to win. I don't think it's going to be a runaway. I think they're about right within the 3 to 7. I think it's about 3 to 7 point difference is what this game's gonna go down to. So that's what I think. That's what I pick when it comes to that. Always remember, if you're on YouTube, please comment. Please tell me what you like and what you heard, what you think this could be better and everything at. And please subscribe. We need subscribers, trying to get our 500 goal up here as well. So saying that, those are my guaranteed, my upset alerts, my upset picks, and my bold prediction, as well as the top game breakdown and who I would pick on that. And if you're just wanting to watch another game after all that, at the very end, we can always tell you this game right here. Cal versus Washington, 10:30. I don't know about the USC, Arizona State. I just don't believe in Arizona State. But, Cal did pretty good against Auburn and everything. But Washington's the real deal. Maybe if you're one of those late night guys and you want to stay up all night, that might be a game to watch. But I'm picking Washington. Matter of fact, I said it a while ago that I was buying into Washington stock and selling a little bit of USC because I don't believe in USC's defense as much. I still think USC is a top 2 in that whole conference. I'm switching up. I'm picking Washington to win that conference as what I see so far. And I know, listen, it's week 4. We don't need to get crazy with it. Week 6, you normally see like who the real deal is and who ain't. But I like Washington. I like Michael Penix Jr., Tampa Tech boy, right over here. Played against the old Brandon Cowboys when I was over there. The kid can only run the ball for a long time. And now look at him. He can pass, he can run, he can do a lot of great things. So Michael Penix Jr. he's elite. And that's why I got him right now is at the top of the top of the quarterback list of mine, along with Sanders and Caleb Williams. So that's my picks. I appreciate you watching. Like I said, we're going to continue to grow, continue to get better equipment, continue to do more things. The more that you subscribe, the more that you like, the more you share, and the more that you comment. Please comment. Don't hold back. Thank you. God bless college football and God bless America. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.